and work with me, suitsandposing.com is where you have to go. We did open up registration for the sizzling summer suit sale as of today. So in order to get access to that registration, you do have to be on our email list. So if you're not on there, you can get on there by going to suitsandposing.com. So sizzling summer suit sale is one of our biggest sales of the year. And we launched that registration list today. That is free to register. No purchase required at this point. You just got to be on the list, be in the know for when the sale actually opens. Tonight we're going to wrap up the Milwaukee Pro, and I did see Devin jump on, so welcome Devin. Saw Carolina jump on too. Congratulations to Carolina. I think Carolina placed fourth? Both of them. So both Devin and Carolina placed fourth in their respective pro divisions. So congratulations, ladies. If you log on and you were in this show, say hi, and I'll shout you out. What's up? Shanika's on. Shanika made her pro debut at this show as well. Looked phenomenal. All right, so how many of you guys actually watched the live feed? So they had a live feed on YouTube. I'll be honest, it was not the best live feed available ever. The quality was not great. There was no sound to it either, so you couldn't hear what the judges were telling the girls to do, which for me sucked because I wanted to hear when they were telling them to move and things like that. They could have probably set this up a little bit better where they I know they took the sound off because they didn't want to have copyright infringement, things like that. I get that. But there are ways around that by putting the mics actually into the camera that's filming, things like that. You know, that would have been helpful because it's hard to watch when you don't hear anything, you don't have any sound. So I was a little bit off on some of this stuff because I just didn't know what's going on because I couldn't hear it, you know? That's what we get for free. I know, right? I know, for real. And I get it. I understand. It was a free webcast, that kind of thing. I understand that. But I mean, you literally could have put up an iPhone and probably gotten a little bit better quality. I'm just saying. So for next time, guys, try to think ahead on the audio aspect of that for all of us fans out here. You know, I watch these live streams from home, and when they are a quality live stream and when they're paid for, there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people on these live streams, thousands at sometimes. There was like 200 on the live stream because it doesn't capture you by having any audio. So that's my critique of the live stream. And the lighting at the show itself was not very good either. It was just really hard to see from the live stream. So I say all of this to preface what I'm going to tell you about what I saw from the feedback too, because I couldn't see everything that obviously you could see in person. You just can't see it through video because the lighting was off. So let's see, so true. First call outs lasted over 6 minutes and recorded it. I recorded it and did a voiceover. I did too. I watched the live stream on my iPad and live on my phone. Yes, that backdrop. Yes, so I was going to mention that too, Devin, that backdrop for the commentary. Yeah, lighting was terrible. Yes, it was. So and Shanika, even the videos that Jamaica sent me of you guys, like I have videos of all of you, and they're just bad because that lighting was so rough. You guys. And just also show promoters, if you happen to listen to this, orange tones and brown tones in your backdrops, not a good idea. They make all of the physiques blend together with that, and that hard theater lighting is it's not the most conducive to the best lighting for a bodybuilding show, which is pretty important. You know, so, you know, it is what it is. I think that the photos that they did came out well, but it looks like to me that even the photographer had to do quite a bit of creative, like lighting tweaks and things like that with the photos to make the ladies actually look decent because the lighting was so hard from overhead. So, yeah. Just a note on that for future. Harsh yellow, yeah. It was a hard yellow, and again, the hard part about it is that all you ladies and guys too are tanned up, so you're a little orange or brown as it is, and when you have those tones in the backdrop, everything just literally blends together on that video. So, again, from my vantage point, watching the live stream, it was difficult for me to see anything as far as definition and conditioning and things like that is concerned. So my feedback may be a little bit off from what actually was happening in person. That is also why it's important to be in person at shows, I believe. But this was especially poignant in showing that particular point. It was just really difficult to be able to see what was going on. So with that said, let's move into going into wellness. What I'm going to do with each of these, I'm going to talk about kind of that first call out. top 6-ish type of girls. And kind of tell you what I saw. Now, the one thing I will say as we go into this is I loved the way they judged this show. Loved it. You know, a lot of people were like, what's going on? I don't understand what's happening. How are they doing these call outs and things like that? They really took their time judging these girls. And yes, the call outs were like, I know Devin herself, because she was in that first call out. She was also in that second group of girls too. I think Devin was on stage in those call outs for like 15 minutes total. It was a long time. They were really working these girls a lot. And, you know, they moved people around differently. They set them in different positions. And I really liked that because it kept you guessing and it makes the judges judge. When you just stick somebody in the middle and put everybody around them, then everybody just, you know, that's how placings fall. But when you move them around like that, the judges have to actually take into account every aspect of that girl's physique and truly judge them. And I saw that happen in each one of these classes, which I love that because that gives girls the opportunity to work their way up, and it gives judges the opportunity to really look at people objectively and judge what they see in front of them versus just knowing what's lined up on the stage. You know what I mean? So I actually really loved the way that they did this. When I was watching Wellness, initially, I was like, from the get-go, I was like, Isabel won this. Isabel won this from the get-go. But the way they were moving people around during that first call out, I was like, they're moving everybody around Sunny. And I thought maybe they had Sunny in first place. In hindsight, now that I look back at it, I think what they were doing is they were actually just moving Isabel out of the way. They were moving Isabel out of the way so that they could figure out who was going to be second, third, and fourth. That top 4 was very, very tight. I do believe that Isabel should have won this. I mean, just from the minute that she walked on stage, I thought she was the best fit. I personally love her physique better than almost any other wellness girl I've seen on stage, period. And then when we start looking at the top 3, or top 4, I'm sorry, I felt like Sunny and Renee compared really well to each other. And then Devin compared really well to Isabel. I felt like Isabel and Devin were like neck and neck as far as their bodies were concerned. The pop on their glutes, the shape of their frames, their looks. They were very polished. Their presentation was very polished. I felt like they compared very, very well to each other. And then when I look at Sunny and Renee, their shape and their pop and their glutes, I felt like were very, very comparable. Renee did a few different poses that were different than the other top 4 girls. Like her front pose, she really kind of hit a side pose versus a front pose. And I don't think that really helped her. I think maybe if she had settled into that same front pose that everybody else was doing, she may have been able to jump Sunny. Because I actually like Renee's package a lot, and I've liked Renee's package a lot, but I will say that Sunny got better at this show too with her posing. She's another one that has increasingly gotten better with her presentation. She was really rough when she came out in Pittsburgh. She got a little bit better in New York, and she got a little bit better here. The green was pretty. I would have liked to see the lighting a little differently to know if I really liked that green or if I didn't. I liked her pink at the last show. I thought the pink looked great on her. This green did pop on her pretty well, but what I really noticed with her more than anything is she had really good pop to her glutes, and her presentation really, really improved. Renee, I felt like she's just become more and more consistent. She looks the same each show she goes into. So I felt like she looked great. I mean, I think she's looked great each time she's gotten on stage. The only critique that I have really of Renee is that I would have liked to see her settle into that same front pose, because I felt like what happened when she settled into that quarter turnish kind of front pose is we lost some of her quads. We lost some of the fullness in her quads from that front pose. So I felt like if she went into that true front pose, she would have been more comparable to everybody else in that first call out, and it probably would have helped her. Can we just take a moment of pause for what Ryan and Devin achieved over the last 3 shows? I saw the side by side that Ryan posted today and initially thought it was an entire career. Oh yeah, we're getting to that. I haven't gotten to Devin yet, but we are going to talk about that for sure. So I felt like that was the correct call as far as Isabel winning this. Again, I think that she is a serious threat for the Olympia title. I love her whole look, her physique, her flow, everything. I think she is wellness in my opinion. Yes, so let's get on to Devin. So we talked a little bit about Sunny, talked a little bit about Renee. Devin, obviously we've been helping Devin this whole time too, and her critique has been since Pittsburgh that she needed to fill her glutes out and get more pop to her glutes. Each show that she's come back, she's gotten a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better. And again, just popping up that outer part of her glutes really improved her overall look. Her posing has gotten better too. I mentioned this from the last show, that she pulled up in a few of her poses and made her waistline a little bit more streamlined. The fact that she was able to pull and pop her glutes a little bit more made her waistline look a little bit smaller too. And I felt like this was a phenomenal look for Devin at this particular show. And she carried herself like a seasoned pro as well. I feel like that presentation thing is huge, especially in this wellness division. Once we got outside of that first call out in its wellness division, you could see the girls were uncomfortable with the way that they were posing. You could see they were uncomfortable with their whole stage presence. The girls in that first call out knew what they were doing. The top 4 girls specifically knew what they were doing. It was very, very apparent that they knew what they were doing. And that carries a lot of weight. That confidence factor carries a lot of weight. But I do feel like the top 4 were a very, very good representation of what wellness should look like. And I think that was spot on when it comes to those top 4. Now, could they have flipped around a little bit inside that top 4? Sure. I think they could have flipped around a little bit in that top 4, but I'm not mad at the placings at all. I think that was right on. So composed. Absolutely. And when you get into like fifth and sixth, Devon Martin, she kind of faded a little bit from New York. I felt like she was better at New York than she was at this show. I do think her suit was different. Again, with the lighting, I couldn't really tell, to be honest with you, but I do think her suit was a little bit different this time, and I preferred the look that she had in New York. She wasn't as tight from behind, kind of lost some of that real wow factor that she had at New York. And then Bruna made her pro debut. She was one that I mentioned could potentially be in that top 2 at this particular show. And she looked phenomenal, but she's missing a little bit of that pop on the top of her glutes. The same thing that we talked about with Devin from a few shows ago from Pittsburgh. Bruna's kind of at that spot right now. So Bruna's got to do the same kind of transformation that Devin just did. So Bruna, if you happen to listen to this, take notes from Devin. She got you, right? I think she brought a great look for her first show, obviously, as a pro. But she just needs to get that pop on the outer part of her glutes in order to be able to be comparable with those top 4. I thought she was really well placed in that 5th place position, and I think over time she's just going to move up. So I had picked, for my preview, I had picked Isabel as my winner, which Isabel did win. So congratulations to Isabel. I had picked Sunny, Renee, and Bruna and Devin as my top call out. So that pretty much worked out the way I thought it was going to. And Devon Martin too. I put Devon in there too. So she did make her way into that first call out as well. And I felt like that the placings were pretty appropriate in that division. But again, ladies that are getting into this wellness division, pay attention. Go back and watch the top 4 in this particular show, because, again, they were worked hard. They were in comparisons for a good 10, 15 minutes, and they kept themselves together the whole time. They were really, really well prepared with their posing and their presentation. And that goes a long, long way when you have to be up on stage for 10, 15 minutes holding these poses. For those of you guys that don't do your posing practice and do posing conditioning, you need to, and this is why. Okay? Because they held it together phenomenally, and I think this was a great show to show that kind of thing. And I do feel like they made the right calls as far as who was in that first call out in that top 6. I think that was correct, right down the board. And I think that the placings landed out correctly too, even with them moving the girls all over the place. Like I mentioned, I really enjoyed how they actually did the judging at this show, and they moved the girls all over the place. I liked that, and I felt like the girls got judged very, very fairly because of that movement. I thought this was a really well done show when it comes to how they judged it. I thought it was very good. We were all panting when we were facing the back. I'm sure that's a workout right there. If only you could wear like your little watches or Fitbits or whatever when you're on stage to find out what your heart rate is. That would be crazy. I would love to see that. At some show, everybody should just make a pact that they're all going to wear their little heart rate monitors and find out what their heart rates were while posing. But I bet. I mean, I sat here and I was actually recording the live stream myself, and I'm like, damn, they've been like, for you, Devin, I think you were up there the longest because you were in there the first call, and they kept you for the second, they brought you out again at the end for the first call again at the confirmation. So I think you actually were up there the longest out of everybody up there. But I was like, man. I was like, this is tough. But I thought it was great. I thought they did a really good job in how they judged this show. So Tell the girls to do that SWS and work them to find out. That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So just one other note on this particular show, you know, we had also Vicky Counts came out and made her wellness debut, and she did phenomenal as well. She looked really poised and put together too. And I just have to give her a shout out for that too, because when I first started working with her on her posing, you know, she was coming from a figure and bikini background, so it was really difficult to kind of transition over into wellness posing. So I was really impressed with her overall presentation that she did at the show. It was very, very good. So the head judge said at the athletes meeting he was going to work us hard, and damn, he lived up to that. Yes, he sure did. I love that though, because again, this is a full show, and again, I think that they judged both at pre-judging and at finals. And when I get into bikini, I'm going to talk about that in that particular how I feel like that affected the bikini results. But I felt like they did judge at both pre-judging and finals, which I think is fantastic. That should happen. It's a pre-judge. It's two parts of a show. It shouldn't just be over with at pre-judging. You need to come back and look the part for finals too. And if you come back improved, you should get rewarded for that too. So anyway, so I thought it was really, really good. I like that. And I would like to see that happen more at shows, because I think it just ends up being what ends up happening is that the girls with the best looks do end up getting up into the correct placings because they get a fair look. So I was really happy about all that. Okay, so moving on to bikini. Bikini was really fun to watch too. They did the same thing with the judging in bikini. They moved the girls around a lot. That first call out was 6 deep, and I do believe that it was the correct call for all the girls in that top 6. Wellness posing looked like bikini. No, I don't think that it looked like bikini at all, actually. I think the quarter turns are similar, but the rest of them, no. I don't think that they look like bikini. I think they look like wellness poses. There's a very significant difference, and I do think that they all posed very, very well for wellness. But again, the bodies speak for themselves too. That's part of it. So going into bikini, yeah, again, like I said, the top 6 I felt were the correct call. And the girls that, like we mentioned at the last show at Optimum Classic, I felt like the Optimum Classic girls were all just a little bit too muscular in that first call at Optimum Classic. Well, those girls that were at first call at an Optimum Classic were in second call out here. And that's why, because they were all just a little bit too muscular, a little bit too thick through the legs, that kind of thing. You know, as we saw with Sonia ended up in that second call out. Sierra was too muscular and was in that second call out. Lexus was still a little bit too muscular on that lower half. She was in that second call out. But that's what we saw. I mean, that made sense. You know, the girls that are going to be a little bit too big are going to be in that second call out. So I felt like the first call out went really, really according to criteria, right? Callista looked really good. She did fix a couple posing things. She had more pop to her glutes again. I think one of the things that detracted from her look at New York was I think she was pushing too hard on her glutes. When she got into her back pose here, she had more pop to it. So it felt like she probably stood up just a little bit more and didn't push quite so hard. That worked out well for her. Her front pose looked more relaxed to me as well. Her front pose did look more relaxed. So I felt like this was an improved look for Callista for sure. Chen-Chi is very muscular in the legs. So we'll talk about Chen-Chi in a minute. I'm going to get there. Don't worry. I'm going to talk about that. So, so I wanted to go back and touch on Sierra before I move on. So Sierra ended up in 8th place here when she was 2nd place last week. Sierra was definitely too muscular in this lineup. Like I could see it. Like it was just like it's almost like she filled out too much. She had a lot of pop to her muscle that the other girls didn't have, and I could see it even on live stream. From the back, her glutes looked great, but it was just too much muscle all over the place. She just needs to streamline that, like she did for the last show. She streamlined a little bit. I felt like here she wasn't. I felt like she filled out too much. Now, she changed her suit, which I actually liked her back cut on this suit better than the one that she wore at Optimum Classic, but it was black, and I don't think that did her any favors. I think she needed to stick with the green. That green color is just a great pop to her to her skin, and I think that green just makes her look a little bit I don't know if I want to say a little bit less muscular. It's not that makes her look less muscular, but I think that the black one just made her look a little bit harder on that bigger, harder stance. So I just don't think the black was the right color for her. And I wanted to mention this also because Lexus came in and did the yellow suit for prejudging, and then she did her red suit at finals. Now, Sierra did the black suit at prejudging and the green suit at finals. I commend both of them for doing that, because when you come out for prejudging, at that point they know they're not in the running for winning this show. So it's time to collect data. It's time to figure out what you could do better, right? So they came out at finals with the different suit colors and suit cuts and all that kind of stuff to see which one made their physique look better. You get pictures, you get videos, you collect data, and you figure out which one looks best for you for the next show that you go to, right? That was a great strategy. I think everyone should take notes on that kind of thing, because if you're not in the hunt to win this thing, take the opportunity to take notes and collect data. They did a really good job at doing that. And I just wanted to mention that because I like seeing that kind of thing. That shows competitors that are looking to improve, that are looking to get good critiques and feedback, and are looking to do better for their next show. So congratulations on that, ladies. I just wanted to point that out because I did notice that, and I think that's fantastic. Now, if you are in the hunt to win this thing, if you're in the top call out, don't change anything. Just come back the same or better. Don't go change your suit. Don't go change your posing. Don't change all that stuff if you're in the hunt to win the show, right? They did the right thing being where they were. Okay, so moving back up to Callista. So Callista, I thought it was an improved package for her. I believe I saw in her stories that she's planning on taking a little bit of time off now, maybe come back at the end of the summer, which I think is smart. I think if I had to give her some critiques, I'd like to see a little bit more fullness all over her body. Like, I felt like she has a great shape, but I just like to see a little bit more pop to her. So I think she could definitely accomplish that by the end of the summer, if that's what her plan is. Fifth was Trisha. Now, this is why I think that they judged at both prejudging and finals. She's one of the reasons, because at prejudging, she was in the third place position. She was in that final confirmation round with Alessia and Chen-Chi. And she ended up placing fifth. So they worked them again at finals. They judged them again at finals. So this is why I do believe that they rejudged, and the way the points worked out with the scoring, that's where Trisha ended up in that fifth place spot. Judging by the way they looked in the morning, I actually loved Trisha from the front the best out of the top three. But I'm guessing she just faded a little bit going into finals, and that's why she ended up dropping a couple spots, and the other two girls that placed ahead of her got a little bit better. So that's what happens. When it's that close, one person can drop 2 spots, right? But I thought this was a great look for her. This was her second pro show ever, and she placed top 5, so I thought that was fantastic. And to be compared in that top 3 too is also a big win when you're just starting with your pro career as well. So really good job for her. And again, I thought she was the best from the front, to be honest with you, in that top call out. So then looking at Carolina. So Carolina looked phenomenal as well. When I looked at the girls from the back in that first call at the top 6, between her and Alessia, they both had the most pop to their glutes in the morning at prejudging. Carolina's just a little bit small. All over, she's just a little bit small. So she's just got to fill out a little bit more. I also felt like her posing was a little bit exaggerated. I'd like to see her just stand and kind of drop her arm a little bit, not push quite so hard in her back pose, just stand up a little taller. I think that would actually help her frame a little bit more. And I'd just like to see her fill out a little bit. I felt like she had great pop to her glutes, so don't get me wrong, but she's just small in comparison to everybody else in size. So she just needs to add a little bit of oomph to her physique in order to pop up a couple more spots and get a win. But still, 4th place at your second pro show is nothing to sneeze at. So she looked phenomenal. And again, another beautiful girl with great presentation. And she worked her way back up, because in that first call out initially, she was towards the outside. So she could have been as low as 6th. But she worked her way back up to 4th. She didn't give up, and she kept pushing, and she worked her way back up to the 4th place spot. So I think that was really a testament to her, knowing that you're getting judged all show. It's not just the first time you step out on stage. Yes, that matters, but don't give up while you're in those call outs. I see girls give up. I see their attitudes show on their face sometimes. That didn't happen. She's like, no, this show isn't over until it's over. The show's not over till it's over, right? Don't just think it's over like you won or you lost. It's not over till it's over. Keep pushing, keep performing, right? She was a good view of somebody who did that, and so was Shelby. Shelby was another one that could have potentially been in that 6th place spot based on some of the places that she had been put on stage, and she worked her way up to 3rd. When they came back at finals, they did compare those 3 through Yeah, 3 through 6 girls again. They compared them all in like separate little call outs because they were seriously really rejudging these girls, both at prejudging and at finals. They had small little groups of 3s, just moving them all around. Everybody got to share the middle spot at one point or another, so the judges got a really good view of each girl. So again, this constant judging the entire show, I think, played out to a really fair placing for the top 6 here. So she's another one that really worked and really pushed herself back up and got her into that top 3 spot, because coming out of prejudging, she wasn't in that top 3, but after finals she was. So, good job to Shelby keeping that together. I felt like she looked really complete from front to back. She could have popped a little bit more in her glutes at prejudging, but I think she fixed that going into finals. She did pop quite a bit more at finals based on the way that they had compared them, and the way that she looked at finals. I think that's what popped her up into that top 3 spot. Okay, so getting down to our top 2, Alessia and Chen Qi. And again, I figured out how to pronounce Chen Qi's name. It's Chen Qi, not Chen Kui. It's Chen Qi. Chen Qi. So I've got it. That's from watching interviews of her this weekend, so I figured it out. So after prejudging, I was kind of torn between both Chen Qi and Alessia. I had Chen Qi from the front. I had Alessia from the back. When Chen Qi first walked out on stage, I didn't even know that was her. She just commanded that stage with her stage presence. I have never seen her walk on stage like that before. Like, she just took over the stage. And when she got up in that first call, I'm sitting here watching, I'm like, who is that? Who's that in the first? I'm like, oh my gosh, that's Chen Qi. Like, I didn't even recognize her when she first walked out there. She streamlined her physique a lot at this show, a lot. Yes, she still has that deep quad. Like, I'm not saying she doesn't have that density there, but the way she was posing and presenting herself made her look a lot less dense than what she had in the past. She was stunning from the front, stunning from the front, teeny tiny little waistline. And there was just something about her presence that day that I was like, I couldn't take my eyes off of her. Alessia from the front was just, she was okay. From the back, her glutes popped like nobody, like pop, like holy cow. So from the back, I was like, yeah, I mean, it really could go either way, because while Chen Qi killed it from the front, Alessia killed it from the back. So I was like, I don't know. The way they move people around, I thought they had Alessia in first and Chen Qi in second. Then they came back for finals. Her posing was amazing. Her posing was amazing. When they came back for finals, Chen Qi popped from the back. She had more pop to her glutes. And Alessia started to fade through finals. So I believe that made the difference at finals. I believe that's what made the difference between Chen Qi winning it and Alessia winning it. When you look at him from the back, Chen Qi had significantly improved from prejudging to finals in her back pose, and you can see it on the live stream. You can see the pop in her glutes. So once you add that into the mix, now all of a sudden it's like, okay, now you can't deny that Chen Qi is the best here this day, right? So yeah, I definitely think it played out the right way. Now the other thing I didn't even realize until after the show was over with is that Chen Qi is now being now being coached by Jen Dory. And they just made that switch, I think, like, I don't know, I'm assuming this week, because I've never heard that she was coaching her before. So I'm assuming that's just something that happened this week. So perhaps Jen was just like, okay, we need to adjust you a little bit so that we really pump up that presence and we adjust your posing, so we bring the density down and things like that. Perhaps Jen's eye helped her to achieve that aspect of it, because there's only so much you can do to your physique in a week. She just competed last week and she was 5th, I think, at Optimum. So there's only so much you can do in a week with your actual body, but the way that you show it and the way that you present it can be completely different from week to week. So I don't know what went on behind the scenes, but I'm guessing that Jen probably had quite a bit of say in what Chen Qi did as far as her presentation is concerned, because her presentation was just next level at this show. And I've seen Chen Qi in person on stage twice this year, and she didn't look like that. So whatever y'all did, it worked. She made the switch after the show officially. But anyway, so I don't know. So I thought it was really, really, really good to see what happened. And I always like seeing a girl who has not qualified for the Olympia qualify. That is always something, you know me, whenever I do these Olympia or these previews, I always say I want to see somebody win that hasn't won before. I always root for the underdog, you know, root for that girl that has been working her way up. That's what I want to see. So I was very happy to see Chen-Chi win this show, and I thought it was a well-deserved win. So Jen just joined, so maybe she can weigh in. Oh, did she? Oh, I didn't see her join. Welcome. But anyway, whatever y'all did, it worked. So, just saying. But yeah, I thought that this was really cool how this whole show was actually judged. Again, back to that concept of, I loved that they moved the girls around as much as they did. It really, not only does it give the girls a good look, like they really do get judged, but I think it actually makes the girls feel like they really get judged too. I think it makes them feel like they really got looked at, they got seen, which as a competitor, if you guys are competitors or if you're thinking about competing, that's what you want. When you get on stage, you just want to be seen, you know, you just want to be noticed. And I felt like the way that they judged this show, every girl got her opportunity, which I thought was awesome. So for my preview, who did I have? I had a big list for this preview, remember? I pulled like 9 names. So I thought we were going to see in the top 4, I thought we were going to see Carolina, Shelby, Alessia, and Sierra. So the only one that I didn't have in my top 4, I did have Chen-Chi in my first call out, but I didn't have her in my top 4, was Chen-Chi. So I had Carolina potentially winning this show. So she took 4th, so I was close. And I also had Callista and Callista up in that top call out too. So she hadn't officially started with me in Fit Body Fusion until after we had been working together on presentation and posing tweaks since New York Pro. There you go. Awesome. Well, I don't know how much of this you actually heard, Jen, but that's what I said. I said there was something about her when she walked on this stage that was just next level that I hadn't seen her do on stage yet. So whatever you did with her presentation absolutely worked. I don't know if you heard that whole thing that I just said, but I was like, there's not a whole lot you can do to change a physique in a matter of a week when you got that dense muscle and things like that, but you can present it differently. So congratulations on working with her on that aspect of it, because I really feel like that's what put her over the edge at this show. She had a good physique to begin with. It's not like she had a bad physique. She had a great physique. She was getting those top call outs and things like that. But what put her over the edge was her presentation and how she put it out on stage. So congratulations to you as her new coach. Absolutely. Even though it was exhausting, I appreciate that they took time with judging. See, yeah, exactly, Devin. And you know, coming from the girl that was on the stage the longest, being compared the longest, you know, that says something. I think that really does matter. I think it really does matter. As a competitor, you just want to feel like you got your time, you got your chance, you got your opportunity. And I really, really liked that about how they judged this show. So other than the lighting, I thought everything about this show was great other than the lighting. She's an incredible athlete. I think a lot of it came down to believing in herself and showcasing it on stage properly. Ann and Ricardo were coaching her prior with her physique and did a great job. Yeah, you know what? It's so funny that you say that, because belief in yourself is so huge. It is so huge. It can take somebody from just a second to first call out girl to winning a show. You know, that's what gets you noticed, that it factor on stage, especially when you're among physiques that are this good, girls that are this good. You have to have that belief in yourself. I always tell you guys, if you don't believe you can win, why do you think the judges are going to believe you can win? You got to believe it first. So again, congratulations to all of you that worked with her. Congratulations, you all did a great job. Lighting was horrible, right? 1,000%. Even for myself, that was the biggest change last year too, and going into this year being my goal. Yes, absolutely. It's huge. It really is huge. It really is. Some people looked like they had little makeup on. Something about Sunny's face, possibly crappy live stream too. I'm sure that was a live stream. I'm not going to critique on hair and makeup at this show because the live stream was not good quality. I couldn't see any of that stuff. again, it was hard for me to even see conditioning on girls. I could see I could see the pop of the glutes. I could see that, but a lot of these things, like I said, like the makeup and stuff, I can't really critique on that this show, because even the pictures I don't think did justice to the makeup and stuff either, or even the tans. I just couldn't tell. Again, note to promoters out there, don't do orange or brown tones in your backdrop. Makes it really hard to see those things, guys. I'm sure it was different in person. I'm sure the judges could see it a lot better than we could, but I can't comment on it because I physically couldn't see it. I physically couldn't see it because of the way that the lighting was, and the way the live stream was, and the way the photos were. So I just can't comment on it if I can't see it, right? I thought it was the makeup, but it was the lighting. Yeah. The lighting was rough. And even, Jamaica said, Jamaica sent me videos. She was there in person, and she took videos in the audience, and she sent me videos. And even those, I'm like, oh my God. I was like, this lighting is killing me. I can't see anything. You can't see the true colors of the suits. You can't see any of that stuff. So, I'd like to sit here and say I can critique it like I typically do, but I just can't. I just couldn't. I mean, even, like I said, even from the pictures, you can't see it, because I do feel like the pictures were adjusted in order to be able to see correctly, in order to be able to see their physiques correctly. So, you win some, you lose some, right? Any questions, you guys? So overall, I did pretty good on my predictions. I got Isabel right for wellness. I was close on bikini. I had Carolina winning it for bikini out of the gate, but she took fourth. But I thought it played out really well. Played out really, really well. And like I said, I'm always the girl that is going to root for the underdog regardless. So the next wellness show, Miss Devon, you're going to be on my prediction list for that top 5 or higher. Just saying. If you bought the package, we're supposed to get videos too, so hopefully those look better. Not that it helps you out, right? I know. Yeah, it doesn't help with judging. Because again, when it comes to judging too, like, I want to see the comparisons. Like, while I love watching you guys perform your individuals, the judging comes down to how you compare with everybody else. Like I said, for you, Devin, I felt like you compared best to Isabel in that top 4. I really did. I felt like you guys were like, you could have been sisters. So... yes, comfort all. Yes, you got those O points now. Got to go for it. Love it. But yeah, it was a fun show to watch, regardless of the quality of the live stream. That's okay. Dang, I missed this live. Can't wait for it to post my cardio. Yeah, so when I get done here, so those of you that are new here, or that haven't been around for a while on my live feeds and things, I do repost these afterwards. They go up on my Instagram here, and then I also download the video itself. And I put it with pictures and videos from the actual, from NPCNewsOnline and from the show, and I upload that onto YouTube. So as soon as we get done here, I'm going to start working on that. Hopefully I'll have it up by tomorrow. I typically do the wrap-ups on Monday, but because it was Memorial Day, I wanted to give you guys a holiday. I wanted a holiday too. So I took the holiday. And so I'm going to do my best to get it out tomorrow. I do have a full slate of clients tomorrow, so it's going to be difficult for me to get it uploaded, so I'm going to try and do it tonight as soon as we finish up here. But then, like I said, for those of you that are new or that are trying to learn, by putting these pictures and videos along with what I'm saying here, that helps you to kind of connect what it is the judges are looking at. So that's always my goal, to kind of help you guys to understand what's being judged and how it's being judged. So it's less of a mystery, and you know more of what you need to bring to the stage, right? I always love watching this stuff. I had clients in my studio on Saturday, and I had my big screen up with the live feed going. I had the girls pose. I was like, hold on. I was like, Shanika's on. Hold on. I got turned, and I want to go watch the screen. I was like, hang on. Comparisons are up. Hang on. Yeah, they learned too. I had girls in my studio while comparisons were going on. They were watching it with me. So see, it works out. Okay. So we are finished for tonight. Now, like I mentioned before, our registration for our Sizzling Summer Suit Sale did just open up today. Registration is 100% free. It just gives you access to the sale. So if you're on our mailing list, you need to check your emails because that was sent out today. You just click through that, put your email and name in there, you're on the list, you're good. That's it. That's all you got to do. If you're not on our list, go to our website, suitsandposing.com, and get onto our list there. Just fill out the contact form and everything. That'll get you on our list. That will give you access to the sale when it opens up. It is not open yet. You just specifically have to register for it so that you're on the list when it opens. Okay, it's exclusive access to people on the list. All right, guys. So again, get signed up for that Sizzling Summer Suit Sale. It is one of our best sales of the year. Actually, Shanika, that's how Shanika started coming working with us a couple of years ago, was our Sizzling Summer Suit Sale. Then she ended up getting her national qualification with us, and then she ended up winning her pro card with us, and now she's a pro. Look at how that works, see? And for those of you that don't know, if you win your pro card while using one of my suits on the IFBB stage, you win a sponsorship for the remainder of your career as a competitor. So, you know, just a little something right there for you, right? All right, you guys, I hope you have a fantastic evening. I hope you had a great holiday. I'm still rocking my red, white, and blue here, you know, gotta be patriotic, USA. And we'll be back. Hope you guys have a great night. We'll see you back here tomorrow, 8:15. Good night, you guys.